You're going to find in life that the things you hate, more often than not, either define who you are or reveal who you are. How many times have you heard about that guy who hates homosexuals and it turns out he's gay? Or he hates fascists. Oh yeah, he hates fascists. He's Antifa and he hates fascists and he fights them and he acts like a fascist. Yeah. I mean, often as not, those people who say very self-consciously that they hate X, Y, Z and they want to expunge that, more often than not, it's because they themselves either are that thing or it is who they truly are and they don't want people to see it. In my own case, I hate cowards. I hate them with a passion. I hate cowards and I want nothing to do with them. And the reason, of course, is simplicity itself, by just what I just said, right? Which is, I'm terrified of being a coward. Now, not in the sense of cowardice like in combat or some shit like that, like physical cowardice. No. That I'm not worried about. What I'm worried about is being a coward in life, about not taking chances when I should. See, what I've noticed is that there's a great difference between being a physical coward, if you will, and being a coward about life. And the reason is very simple, you see, because when I was young, my father, my old man, well, he was physically very brave, you know, and very tough, right? I mean, he was a tough son of a bitch, a tough guy, you know, I mean, he could take on 20 guys, right? He was not a coward. He was willing to go toe-to-toe with anyone. But the problem was that insofar as his life, how he led his life, the chances he took in his life, he was a coward, yeah? And that's how I have this dichotomy. I learned it early on from my old man, from watching my old man, about how physically brave he was, but what a coward he was in the life that he led. My own fear of being a coward insofar as the life I lead has to do with the fact that, you see, I don't want to have regret in my life. And I have many regrets. And the funny thing is that thinking about these regrets, they are profound. These regrets that I have, that were a product of my cowardice, these regrets are enormous. And yet the funny thing is that they are individually trivial. And let me give you a specific example. When I was in high school, I was about 16, 17 years old, right? And there was this girl called Macarena. I've actually talked about her in other videos, right? She was gorgeous. She was just so fucking gorgeous, or at least to me. I know, and objectively she was hot, okay? She was just gorgeous, right? She had like long curly brown hair, I mean like really thick, right? And she had like skin that was sort of like a cafe au lait kind of thing, and these blue eyes, they were so blue. I mean, they were like the blue of the Caribbean. You know, it was just like unbelievable, right? And oh man, and a body, holy shit, man. I mean, just so fucking hot, right? And I pined after her for like a year. I would like, you know, watch her all the time. And she'd go here and she'd go there. She wasn't in my class. She was in another class at my same age level, right? And she would go here and there. And I'd always like spy on her and like look at her. I mean, not like stalker creepy, right? But, oh man, I kept an eye on her. And I just adored her. And of course, I never spoke to her. I never spoke to her. I was too terrified. A couple of times I did. But like, you know, just a total retard, you know, and just feeling incredibly shy and frightened and all the rest of it. And I could not get over my fear. Man, you want to know the tragedy? Years later, like 20 years later, we were at some reunion, right? And there she was, hot as could be, still 20 years later. And I heard around that she had thought I was cute, you know. She had thought I was cute back in the day, back when we were in high school. And I talked to her, and she was lovely, you know. But, you know, the moment had passed, okay? But the point, the overarching point, the more important point is that, see, back when we were in high school, she had thought I was cute. All I had to do to have had a date with her is to just go up to her and say, hey, you know, I think that you're cute, or just talk to her a little bit and say, why don't we go out and, I don't know, get coffee or soda or whatever the fuck. All I had to do, and I didn't. And when I graduated from high school and lost track of her, even then I was like regretting it. I knew it was going to be one of the great regrets of my life. I'm 51 years old. And this happened when I was 16, 17, 35 fucking years ago. And I still regret not having asked her out. After all these decades, it's one of the defining moments of my life, my failure of nerve. What's the worst that could have happened? That's the thing that kept, going on in my head. What's the absolute worst thing that could have happened if I'd gone up to Macarena, this beautiful creature, if I'd just gone up to her, started talking to her a little bit, and, smiled and tried to get her to laugh, and then popped the question, well, why don't we go out on a date, That's all I had to do. It's something so simple, yeah? And 35 fucking years later, I'm still grinding about this shit. And I'm filled with regret. And if I'd gone out with her, maybe I would have gone out with her and realized she was an idiot, or I just didn't like her, or whatever the fuck, but I wouldn't have this regret, yeah? I wouldn't have this regret weighing on me. This regret that was a product of my cowardice. Wow. There's no other way to explain it, because I was a chicken shit. I was a 16, 17-year-old little chicken shit, a little chicken shit faggot bitch who couldn't go up to some girl and ask her out on a date. And this regret has weighed on me ever since. And I'm telling you, it's not every day, but I would say at least once a week that I think about this. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Once a fucking week I think about this, at least. I mean, the worst that could have happened is that, it didn't work out. Actually, the worst that could have happened is that I could have gone up to her and she could have, I could have said, oh, you want to go out on a date? And she could have, pointed at me and said, huh, you? No, fuck you. That's the worst that could have happened. But so what? You see, so what? It wouldn't have been that big of a deal. That is the absolutely worst thing that could have happened. But actually, no, that's the second worst possible thing that could have happened, because the worst possible thing that could have happened is to be going on 35 years full of regret. I hate myself, my 16-year-old self. I hate him. I hate the little cowardly ass bitch that he was. I hate his little fucking guts. Okay? I hate him. Well, of course, I don't hate him. I would be hating myself. And of course, in many ways, I feel great compassion and tenderness for the young men that I used to be back in the day. But the point I'm trying to make, it's a serious point. You want to figure out what you hate. What you hate, the thing that you just despise, you want to know what it is. Be able to say it instantly. Because once you figure out what you hate, you're going to be figuring out what you fear. And as you start to dig into why you fear that thing, you'll be able to understand yourself. Because a lot of times we act in ways that are not completely clear to us, right? And so we need to gain some insight. A lot of times people on the outside can give enormous insight to what's going on with somebody, right? How often does it happen that, you have some friend and he's all confused like a headless chicken running here, there, everywhere, and you on the outside know exactly what's going on. And you could tell him if you'd only listen, of course, right? Well, the same thing is happening to you. Other people often as not can figure you out, but you have to figure out yourself. And the way to figure out, one of the quickest ways to figure yourself out, is to find out those things that you hate in others, and figure out why you hate them in others, hate those things in others. And once you've figured out why you hate those things in other people, start to see what you fear. And once you define what you fear and figure it out, then you'll have a true insight about yourself. Because the thing that you fear is the thing that will define you. The things that you hate are a window into who you are. And that's why you have to figure that out. Figure that out so that you can figure yourself out and be a better man and achieve the things that you want to achieve and live the life that you want to live. In my own case, figuring out how much I hate cowardice and how I despise cowards. Well, it helped me a lot because, you see, I realized that what was really going on is that I was afraid of regret. I was afraid of not doing things and then later regretting them. And that's why the issue with Macarena was such a pivotal thing in my life, because that taste of regret that I carry with me all the time, the second there is something going on, something, some possibility of something new, and I start to fear doing it, I start fearing, the jump into the pool, right? I think about Macarena. I think about the regret I feel, that regret that I've carried with me for 35 years. And the second I remember that regret, it's like singes my soul, when you touch like a stove or something, and you touch it and it singes you and you're like, fuck, it's hot, right? That's exactly the feeling I get whenever I think about Macarena. I think about regret. She's become like my symbol of regret, of the regret of missed opportunities. Because she liked me. If I'd gone up to her and asked her out on a date, she probably would have agreed. And, more likely than not, she probably would have been my girlfriend. But I didn't do it because I was a chicken shit little faggot bitch coward. And so now, whenever there is an opportunity, even though it might fill me with fear, I think about Macarena. And I get over my fear very, very quickly and just dive right into the pool. By the way, the fear of regret doesn't make me foolhardy. This is something interesting, by the way. See, like a lot of times I've had the opportunity to go into different things or different projects, and I start looking at it and I realize, no, this is not going to work out. And it's not a thing of like me being a chicken shit. It's a realistic appraisal, or what I think at the time is a realistic appraisal, that it's not going to work out. Okay? Because I'm not a person who is afraid, or let me rephrase that, I don't allow my fear to overwhelm my logic, my reason, my acquired knowledge and experience. I'm a man in full, okay? So a lot of times what happens is I will look at something, some potential project like Bitcoin. Like, let me give you an example, a specific example. Back in 2011, I found out about Bitcoin. And I found out about Bitcoin, some acquaintances I knew were deeply involved in it, and I learned all about the whole Bitcoin thing, the whole Bitcoin movement, right? And I asked myself a few key questions about it. And I had the opportunity to invest in it. But I thought, this is going to be a losing investment. And I made a rational choice. It wasn't out of fear. It wasn't that I was afraid of Bitcoin or didn't understand it or some shit like that. I thought to myself, the Bitcoin is not going to work out because I'm not going to get into the reason. I actually went into the reasons in the video you can find right here. But the point is, I didn't go into it, but it was a rational decision. And it was not made out of fear. It was not made out of, it was a rational decision made. At the time, I thought it was a wise decision. I mean, if I'd known that the shit would go from what it was offered to me just for just a few bucks and now it's worth over 10,000, well, if I'd known that, sure, I would have gone into it. See, but nobody has a crystal ball, okay? And I still can't believe that the tulip mania that is Bitcoin is still going on, but that's for another conversation. The point I'm trying to make is that, see, the decisions that you make, that I have made at least, because of my terror at feeling regret, they're always rational decisions. And no matter how much something scares me, I'm willing to examine it rationally. And I'm very, very careful not to allow my fear, my natural fear, to overwhelm my good sense, my rationality. Am I making any sense here? Okay, I feel I'm losing track of this video. Once again, shocker. I start doing the video, I have all these, I do these notes beforehand, right? These bullet points. I don't read a script because whenever I read a script, I feel wooden, and it comes across as wooden. I'm not very good at being like a script reader, but having my bullet points and trying to do those bullet points. I got them right here, by the way, but right now I'm looking at the bullet points and I sort of I touched on them, but went off on random tangent shit instead of staying on point. And even now I'm going on a fucking tangent. Oh shit, man, what the fuck? Well, yeah, okay, let me get back to the starting point. I hate cowards. And it's important that I know why I hate cowards, because then I understand that what I really hate, what I really fear, is regret. Because cowards are filled with regret, of course. Cowards never do the things that they have the chance to do. Cowards have 1,000 Macarenas in their lives, right? And so I hate cowards because I'm afraid of feeling regret. It terrifies me. When you figure out what you hate, whatsoever that may be, you figure that thing out, what you hate instinctively, and what you want to do is you want to examine that thing. Rather than hate it and reject it, you want to slide in real fucking close to that thing. And you want to pick it up and examine it on all sides and understand why you hate that thing, why you fear that thing. There's this organization called Hope Not Hate. Hope Not Hate. Which sounds, on its face it sounds perfectly fine. And then you think about it, it's kind of shallow. And you think about it a little bit more, and it's fucking stupid. Okay? You need to understand and know that thing that you hate. Hate is a good thing. Yeah, because it can help you figure out who you are. And that's what you want to do ultimately. You want to figure yourself out. Figure yourself out so you can achieve the things that you want. Yeah. I know that this video has been all over the fucking place, but yeah. Hate is a good thing if you use it wisely. Okay, end of video.